Slick Cyber Systems. We're here today with Jim. I'm Chris. We're going to talk about a few Q&As we've gotten, and first one's an architectural firm. And let's see, it's Martin. Martin asks, it's time to retire some old tech. Where do we begin is his subject. Most of the workstations are at least 6 years old. That's pretty old.
For architects,
Yeah, our main server still runs on, he thinks 2012. I don't think it's 2012. But it's becoming harder to open large CAD files and experience random system crashes during renderings. What's the recommendation on phasing out old hardware while keeping us productive? We need ways to prioritize. We need ways of prioritizing, replacing, and be able to meet headlines within a budget.
Okay. Well, first of all, if you're crashing and having difficulty now, now's the time to start replacing.
Yeah, not later.
And this is replacement, truly replacement. Depending on how many you have, I mean, it's usually good to do. Did he say how many workstations he's got?
Workstations? No, just that they're at least 6 years old.
All right. So let's just say you have 10 workstations. I number out. I don't know what the size of the firm is, but if it were me, I would start with 2. Get 2 done. See the productivity increase, and then I would split the other 8 in half, 4 and 4.
So in phases.
But I mean literally right after each other.
But do 2. Get them into the field so people can work.
Right. Call that a pilot. And then you kind of work out whatever bugs you got with those workstations, and then which there shouldn't be any, but if there are,
then you'd roll it out.
And then do 4, get them in. Do 4, get them in, and call it a day. But this truly sounds like that. And if you're still running a server running 2012, you need to get rid of that. So I would definitely invest in a new file server as well that maybe has some NVMe technology or at least SSD technology in it.
Speed up the access to the data.
And get it on an OS either 2025 or even 2022. Absolutely fine. But
Okay.
Fix.
All right. Let's see. Next, I know we got a lot of medical questions. Here's another one. It's private medical practice. This is from Dr. Allison. So, hi Jim. We're using separate platforms for scheduling, and EHR, and billing, and patient communications, none of which seem to talk to each other or well at all. It's starting to slow down the front desk and really frustrate patients who expect more of a seamless experience.
You need a new EHR.
Yeah.
Period. You need a new EHR because scheduling should be part of the EHR as part of the practice management, as should everything else.
Here's the better part. I didn't get to this last part.
Oh.
We're looking to consolidate these into fewer systems, and you already answered it. So I didn't even get to ask that part. So that's what they said. They're looking to consolidate fewer systems, at least integrate them in a more efficient manner.
Yep. You simply need a new EHR. It's going to be a painful move, but it's a necessary move because you're obviously growing to that point where efficiency. I mean, this all needs to be one system because your check-ins, the nursing,
So what is it?
The exam rooms.
In your vision, what's that cutover look like? Like, what's the transition from one system to the next?
You have to run in parallel for a while. Whether it's online, an online system, or if you host it, internally. If you do, obviously, brand new server, get it in there, get the system up and running, and again, you start tweaking out all the bugs and
port the data and all that.
Once you're ready to move, then port the data, and call it a day.
And then get users trained and.
Well, that should happen before the port of the data.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying
you have test data in there first, and then you get to a point, where you do port the data and you still run parallel. Even if it's for a week. But run parallel, so both the old system and the new system are running. Obviously, you're going to see the efficiency. This is a new system. They're going to be they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, a good sore thumb, not a sore thumb, a good thumb, whatever I'm trying to say. The old one will stick out like a sore thumb. But yeah, at least then, you have data continuity, so you at least know how the old system runs. Yeah, you're dealing with headaches, but you also then see, you can get a predictability of what the new system's going to do, and in case you run into something, 2 days down the line, you have two systems running in parallel, and then eventually cut the old one, you're live on the new, call it a day.
Okay. I got two more.
Two more? All right, why not?
All right, one's a real quick one. It's Bill. He's interested in voice over IP. His current system is an old-fashioned PBX. He wants something similar with multiple phones, multiple desks. Since they are in a, let's see, what's some kind of a, he says campus, but I don't think it's school. I think he means like a building campus, like that it's a large building, probably manufacturing or something along those lines.
Okay.
But it seems like people move throughout the facility or the campus, as he has explained it, and they don't have many users, but they have the need for many phones at different stations. So they need to do calling, they need faxing, they need to be able to do, other, phone to phone and those kind of announcements, if you will, PBX and all that, or not PBX, PA.
Yeah.
So what should he be thinking about with regard to, he has, the need of between 5 to 10 like outgoing calls at any one time?
Okay. Cloud-based PBX for sure. The system that we recommend and we've been using is from Cloudly, and there's a lot of good systems out there. We like them. We've been working with them for, I don't know how many, 15 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah, good org. Connect Me Voice before Cloudly, but there's so much flexibility in that. You can get phones that run on Wi-Fi, your Grand Streams, what have you.
So literally that physically needs to move around.
So somebody needs a phone on them all the time. It just uses the Wi-Fi. So no matter where you go on the campus, as long as the Wi-Fi is solid, that phone's going to go. It's going to continue the call no matter where you go.
Kind of like similar to a decent, like in your house that has.
Think of it as a cell phone.
Cordless phone or a cell phone.
Think of it more as a cell phone in a city where you're walking around. But this is they're Wi-Fi based, but they're still VoIP phones, right?
Yeah.
SIP phones. SIP phones across the board. I mean, if you need 10 outbound calls, you get 10 call paths, and however many extensions, however many phones you have, and then you can do everything you need. Now, there's a couple other bells and whistles like to do the paging and that kind of stuff. You've got to put in some algo units or something like that. But yeah, a piece of cake. Actually, very cost effective. Even fax, e-fax is probably the best way to do that.
Save a lot of paper.
Well, I don't save the paper, but I mean, you can send a receipt. You can send a receipt from anywhere, and that's the biggest bonus for that. Oh, and it's less expensive. You don't have to buy the fax machine, and the call path is actually a little bit less money than it would be to have a SIP-it in there doing the translation for the fax machine. So piece of cake. Very, very, very cost effective. You would be shocked. It's going to cost you way less money to do that than that old system that you're running today. That I will guarantee. I've seen it time and time and time again.
Okay. I have another.
One more.
This one's about energy efficiency. So too many servers, too much heat, and modernization now.
Oh, okay.
So they have they're housing 14 servers.
Okay.
Which are running some outdated applications or isolated services. The heat output is straining our cooling system, and the electrical usage has spiked significantly in the past year.
Yep. Sounds like a time for virtualization.
And that's what I was going to say. Can you help the team explore virtualization options and consolidate to reduce power consumption?
Yeah, absolutely. Virtualization is incredible. It really is the only logical way today, in my opinion. 14 servers, depending on what they're doing, assuming you still need, 14 servers for 14 applications, still not a big deal. What I would personally do on the lower end of cost is there's no mention of the size of company here, how many users, that kind of thing.
Nope.
All right, so on the low end, you put a Windows data center server in there, data center license, and a server that's beefy enough with the amount of NIC network cards, NIC cards, network interface cards, what a NIC stands for, memory, et cetera, and we literally just virtualize these things, on that one massive server. So you've got, one big server, and they're hosting, the 14 VMs that you need. Quite honestly, easier to back up, easier to restore, across the board. And yeah, your electric bill is going to go way down. Your heat, obviously, you're going to be down to one box. Yeah, it's going to be a bigger machine. It's still way less, heat output than it's going to be. And you're talking efficiency here too, right? Because you can customize and say, well, this server only needs, a couple of cores to
I'll
work
take
with.
resources from.
And you can do it dynamically. I'm so with that, because there's certain applications, that you can't do that with like a SQL server or something like that. But yeah, piece of cake. The other alternative to that would be is you do that similar scenario up in the cloud, and you don't need to buy the physical box. Then you don't need to buy Windows Data Center. You just you're putting virtual servers, plural, up in the cloud. Be careful of that, because most of your big providers, you know who they are. I'm not going to mention who they are. I guess I might as well. Azure, Microsoft Azure, AWS, et cetera. The ingress and outgress of data, so the amount of data that you're pushing up and taking out, they charge you for that. And it can get really wildly expensive.
I know some other customers have mentioned, in the recent emails with regard to that same kind of that same vein, that there's customers that are worried about also the companies they're putting the cloud on, whether they're then refiguring their pricing on what business they do.
And that could be. I mean, I can't speak to that directly, because I'm not the person offering. But I in general, I just call this price creep.
Yeah.
That they're giving you a price and say, oh, it's going to cost you, $280 or $210 a month to run the server. What they don't tell you is it's going to run you, $280 worth of ingress and egress at the end of that month. So your $280 server or whatever is now $500 plus. And that I've seen that happen to so many people that have gone into these big things. I'm not saying they're bad, but you just need to prepare for that. We offer a service where the ingress and egress is just all included. It's kind of an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's a ridiculous amount of data transfer in and out. What we allow, like terabyte, I think, plus, each way per month, which is a ridiculous amount of data. And there you can spin up a server, quite honestly, for less money than our AWS and Azure counterparts, and still have a fully functioning server farm that you can actually count on what the price is going to be at the end of the month. You can budget for it. And then, last but not least, then if this is a really big organization, then you should probably be looking at something like VMware, and getting into a cluster, of servers and storage. And then if you have a node that fails, it just it fails all the it turns into a near zero downtime scenario. vMotion's an incredible thing. I'm a big VMware fan. I like it. It's expensive as all get out, but man, if you can afford to do it, it's wicked powerful. And now alternatives to that, like Proxmox, that's a phenomenal. It's free. It's open source, free, but you could pay for support with it. Very similar functionality. So yeah, I mean, I have no issues with that at all. I think it's a wonderful system. But if you're really like corporate, we cannot be down, period, the end, then I would say VMware is probably where you want to go. You could do it with Windows clustering as well, but honestly, the VMware is the best solution for that enterprise level stuff. It's what it's designed for. And again, I've seen a lot of good Windows stuff too, but I'm guessing that these people are talking about, having either a local machine, and hosting the VMs there, because 14 servers is not huge, so chances are you're not a huge enterprise, right? And or putting them in the cloud, and I would tend to say just put a server in. I mean, your costs are going to be far less than if you put it up in the cloud. Companies are seeing this over and over and over again, and they're getting back out of the cloud and coming back on-prem just because the costs are
creeping.
Yeah, price creep. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I'm not bashing it. I mean, there's pluses for both, and minuses to both. But at least if it's on-prem, internet goes down, you could still function. Your backups, you can get them up in the cloud. Now you've got data in two different places, and local and cloud, fully encrypted. I mean, there's just a whole host of reasons why you would want to, do either or. But I personally like the on-prem solutions the best. I think they're the cleanest. So.
Yeah, agreed.
Good enough?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. That's
all right.
All the questions they had on it.
Well, hey, you can reach us 570-215-8888 or
slickcybersystems.com.
Have a wonderful day.
If you find this content helpful, please like the video, subscribe, and share with your friends and your colleagues. Thank you.